What's going on, everyone? This is Baud Fawk Sports back here with another soccer/football episode. We have a lot to talk about today. A lot of crazy things happened in the past couple of days. I did want to say before we start, sorry that this episode is coming a little bit late. School has been pretty crazy for both of us, and it was actually Justin's birthday yesterday. So if you haven't already, wish him a happy birthday.
Gang.
Um, and yeah, so we could just jump straight into it if you want, Justin.
Yeah, I think the biggest headline from this weekend was our two teams facing off against each other at the Stamford Bridge. Final score was 1-1 for Chelsea and United. First half was pretty boring, but the second half was, it's pretty good. I enjoyed the second half, got some goals in there. Yeah, Michael Carrick masterclass, maybe. We wouldn't call it a masterclass, wouldn't call it a disaster class. What were your thoughts on that game?
I definitely have a lot of thoughts about that game, but just to basically sum it all up is it felt like a FIFA match. We were just dominating you guys, and the Sancho goal was just a counterattack off of a free kick that we had. So definitely felt like FIFA, and we definitely dropped the points there. That was bad from us. We didn't seem like we wanted it enough in your box. Like we had a lot of chances. De Gea made a couple great saves, like Cho had a couple chances. It all comes down to, though, like, I think if Lukaku started that whole game, we would have won. And it's just like Werner was just bad. Like, I just have no other word to describe it.
Yeah, no.
He was just bad, and it was very disappointing. And we know he's not like that. Like, he's not that guy. Like, he's not a goal scorer like that. But it's just kind of like, like, this is against Man United. They're in turmoil. This is an interim manager. Like, you should be able to score a goal, especially with multiple defensive breakdowns from you guys and Wan-Bissaka. So I thought he needed to score there, and he didn't.
Yeah, from my standpoint, I kind of love that game, to be honest, because like you said, we're in turmoil right now. We have Michael Carrick as manager. We went into the bridge in eighth place against the first place team in the league. He benched Ronaldo. So there was that. McFred was playing alongside with Matic. It was like the whole disarray, honestly, in the team sheet selection. I thought we were gonna get battered, but De Gea, like you said, made some good saves in the first half. Timo Werner was looking like a prime Manchester United player there with all those misses. And yeah, no, like even the decision to play Sancho and Rashford at striker, at first I was like, that's so dumb. But hey, man, like we scored off that, Sancho and Rashford making the run. Yes, it was off the counterattack and the Jorginho mistake. But
Yeah,
I mean, we got a result, or sorry, we got a goal based on his tactics or whatever you want to call that from Michael Carrick. Really unlucky with that penalty because it was a penalty. It was just pretty like unfortunate that that's how we had to concede. But yeah, no, Lukaku's presence, that really and truly just a striker's presence was missing in that box for Chelsea. I feel like, not going to discredit Werner and say he's not a striker, but he's just not like you said, he's just not that guy since coming to Chelsea. So I think they needed quality against United. And I think Lukaku was definitely who they should have like played the whole game. Granted, he just came off an injury or whatever, but yeah, I think he should have come on sooner at least.
yeah. I did think this is probably one of the rare occasions where I think Tuchel got it wrong. I think Lukaku probably should have came on maybe just after you guys scored. I probably would have subbed him on right away, because we needed someone, and we were creating the chances. We definitely had the chances for it. We had like 24 shots or something, and like 15 corners. It was ridiculous. We had definitely the amount of chances for him to bag a goal. So I thought Tuchel got it wrong by bringing him on so late. I thought Ziyech should have come off sooner for Mount. And I just think like you said, like, kind of unlucky to concede a penalty, but it was a penalty. So Jorginho kind of made up for his mistake. That's why I'm not too mad at him. He did score, but terrible mistake. Like, just I don't know how you do that. If it's coming down, it's hard to control. Hit it towards Mendy. So yeah, crazy mistake. But I thought it was just I thought Chelsea. They're the ones who dropped points. Not that like Man U didn't deserve to get a point there, but I feel like we did everything we could besides the final product to win that game. And I thought if Lukaku was there earlier, then I think we would be having a different conversation right now. But you know, what do you think about Carrick?
Like when he played, as you know, I'm a big Michael Carrick fan as a player. He's a club legend. Like I said to you before the game, either this was gonna be a Michael Carrick masterclass and be his finest moment at the club, or his 12-year legacy was gonna go out the door. So, in all honesty, granted everything, like I'm not mad at the result. I didn't expect us to win, if I'm being honest. Like an interim manager, Michael Carrick, the fact that we even got a point, like we'll take it. Obviously you want to win the game, but I'm not
Against the people at the top of the league, right? Like
yeah.
it's fair.
Yeah, so I'm not too mad with the result. I honestly I'm not going to say that benching Ronaldo was the right decision, but like I mentioned though, his decision to bench Ronaldo and play Rashford and Sancho as like two strikers did lead to our goal, so I can't even be too mad about that. I thought, yeah, I don't know if like Sancho is just rejuvenated under Carrick or something like that, but he's played pretty good in the last couple of games, got a goal each, so I'm proud of Sancho for that. I like that he played Tellez. Now I know Luke Shaw is injured, but I was happy to see like Tellez get out there. And yeah, I think sadly for United fans, our new manager won't be managing against Arsenal. They announced say Michael Carrick will be taking over, so he will have one more chance in the spotlight. Hopefully, he get a victory for himself. But I'm not like I'm now granted. Last time when this happened with Ole, I was like, yo, give Ole the contract, get him in. Whatever. So this time around, I'm not gonna be like, yo, Michael Carrick with the draw against Chelsea, get him in. He could do his last game and all. But yeah, I know I was happy with his game plan, his tactics, yada yada yada. But I just think maybe, even though again we scored off it, but maybe Ronaldo should have come on at halftime. But I don't know. To be honest, like I wasn't too mad. I just think the one person, and I never really say this, but the one person who let us down, I think, was Bruno. Didn't have a good game at all against Chelsea. And I think, I'm not saying that like if he played amazing, we would have like won, but he just looked I don't know if he was like it was nerves or he just looked a bit shaky. He was giving the ball away too much. And I feel like that added a bit of pressure already from the barrage that Chelsea was giving us on offense. So yeah, I was fine with Michael Carrick that game. Honestly, it's just so funny to me to think that he's like interim Manchester United manager, and it was like 5 years ago that dude was like playing for us. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't believe he dropped Ronaldo. To be honest, that was pretty crazy. I was surprised to see that because I was looking forward to like a Lukaku Ronaldo throwback matchup kind of thing, but didn't really get it. They did both get subbed on, but at that point, like nothing really happened. Marcus Alonso was bad. We're missing Ben Chilwell for sure. I thought maybe we play a lot better when we have Ben Chilwell and Reece James because we can play so wide and free, and we can just pass it all over the place. We have scoring options everywhere. When you put in Marcus Alonso there, he also has like weirdly bad chemistry with Cho. Like they just don't work together well. So I don't know. That's kind of concerning. But yeah, we saw Tuchel put Reece James at left wing back and Pulisic at right wing back to take off Marcus Alonso, which I thought that was decent. Reece James is obviously a very versatile player, and Pulisic, if we're on the offensive foot as a right wing back, I don't mind it, which we were pretty much in your half the entire game. So I don't mind him at right wing back because he'll be more of a creator. But defensively, that's kind of worrying. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't our best game, but it wasn't really our worst. Like I thought we did a lot of good. Mendy had a really weird mistake at the end where he gave it to Fred. I thought Fred was pretty terrible, like usual. And then that just mess up. He could have given it to Bruno or Sancho or something, and he did that like chip shot or whatever. So yeah, like a point is a point. Like I'll take it. It's better than the loss. But I feel like we should have won that game. But if you want to I did want to bring up quickly just before we move on. Chelsea are in for Chiesa.
Oh yeah.
Looking like either in the summer or I don't think it's going to happen in January, probably in the summer. And it's apparently going to cost us around 85 mil, which fair enough. He's one of the best young talents in the world. Like no one can argue that. So I think good pickup if we get rid of some people who we've heard like Pulisic is linked to Barca and Liverpool. And Werner's linked back to Germany with Bayern, Dortmund, and Barca want
Yeah.
Werner. So if you guys think he's going to fix your problems, you can take him, right? I'll definitely replace either of them with Chiesa. That is perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, I think yeah, going off what you said, I think right now would be pretty much a waste if I'm being honest, because like you don't need to add an 85 million pound attacker if like to this group. Like I feel like the attacking group is fine, but if you are gonna get rid of like Werner and Pulisic specifically, then it's like okay, then there's room. Because I do think Chiesa would start for Chelsea right now in the setup. Like, do you think he'd go right in the team?
Um, at his current form and with our other players not playing as great, yeah, I think he would. I think if he was at the team right now, our best lineup would probably be Chiesa, Mount, Lukaku up front, which is it. You could say a little unfair for some of the players who have been there for a long time, like and producing. Cho has been really good. Pulisic is now back from injury. He's been looking decent. Werner is decent. Havertz is also, usually a starter. So, could say unfair, but Chiesa is that guy, bro. Chiesa is world class. No cap. He is so good.
I mean, yeah, like I don't disagree. Like I think he's a great talent. Obviously, we saw that throughout the whole Euros tournament as well. But I don't know, like as a United fan, do I want to see like a top talent like that go to Chelsea and they already have all these players? Like absolutely not, like not at all. So I'm not high on the deal as a United fan, but just as like a football fan, I think if Chelsea want to get the deal done, they definitely need to like make some room because like you mentioned, you can't have all those players because I'm sure people will be disappointed. Even Ziyech too, you get throw in the mix. Like I think if it'll be logical for him to come in if like two of like Ziyech, Werner, and Pulisic go. I just don't think
Yeah.
you have that many players on offense, like and have like equal playing time and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I definitely could see Ziyech leaving by the summer. And then probably I could definitely see like Werner leaving over Pulisic because Pulisic is still young and still growing, and basically, he has the entire American fan base. So people basically, they don't really like want to think about the money side of football, but the amount of money that brings into a club, basically having the entire American fan base is like Chelsea fans right now, is insane. He brings in a lot of money. So I don't know if we'd get rid of him just because of that. But if we would have to get like a really good fee for him because I think we paid like 50 mil for him. So
Yeah. And yeah, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that too. Like Werner, how much was he? Was he just under 50 million as
yeah,
well?
he was like
Yeah.
42 or 45.
So that's just not like a cheap investment to give up on. Granted, Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, he's a rich owner, and I know he loves the club, so he'll splash the cash. But yeah, like I don't know the thing about Chelsea, which is fair at times. I feel like maybe, and we saw even with Kepa, like no matter who, like how much they bought them for, like if you're not performing, you'll just get replaced.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think honestly the Chiesa deal. Praying it doesn't happen because I just don't want Chelsea to get him. But if it were to happen, I just think it would just make logical sense for some players to go.
Yeah, and I think Werner still has some value, like he's still a good creator. He still starts for Germany. He's a Champions League winner. I think we could still get around the same amount of money back for him. Same with Ziyech. I think we didn't pay that much for him. So I could definitely see that happening. I'm so down for it to happen. If we can get Chiesa and Mount supplying Lukaku, oh my god, that would be insane. But enough about Chelsea. You want to move on to City beating West Ham 2-1.
Oh my God, man. I hate Manchester City so much. But I really thought West Ham had a chance because we did see West Ham beat Liverpool a couple of weeks back. But, I feel like the thing that separates Manchester City from the rest of the teams, and, more recently, like you could say Liverpool might fall in this category too, but Man City don't drop points against like the small teams. I'm not calling West Ham a small team, but like on paper, that's an automatic win and they got it. I look back to like United last year, and there was always like, oh, if they won this, and this, they'd be in first, but we didn't. But Man City doesn't do that. So I think I'm maybe earlier than expected, but usually by Christmas time, that's when they go on their run of like, okay, they're not going to lose a game because they'll beat all of the like lesser teams, then probably beat the top teams too. So I'm not surprised at that. I think the main part about that game was that absolute screamer by Lanzini at the end. That came out of nothing, but it was very good. That was a very good goal. But yeah, Manchester City, even without a striker, are still getting it done. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I mean Mahrez is all over the place. He's talented. So they have a really good squad, but I really wanted West Ham to win that one for obvious reasons, but also just because my boy Zuma is there.
Oh
And,
yeah.
one day you should bring him back. Um, should have never sold him in the first place.
Yeah.
One transfer window, we lose Tammy and Zuma. It's quite depressing.
Yeah, honestly, I
Uh,
don't know how you still support the team, man. I would have left.
yeah, it definitely sucked to lose them, but you know, we still have a good squad. So I understand like with Tammy leaving, because you're bringing in Lukaku, like it makes sense. But yeah, I wanted West Ham to win, and they didn't. Man City keep pushing on. So I think we're only like 1 point above them right now because we dropped points to you. So kind of scary. This is looking like it's going to be one of the best Premier League runs, in recent history, because it's always been, a Man City dominant run, or Man City and Liverpool, and now it's looking like three teams are really challenging for it. So it's kind of up in the air right now. You never know. You can't really say who's going to win. I'm still obviously going to stick with Chelsea, but Man City, you know, they're a big team for sure.
Yeah, and it just, I hate to see it because like why would I like any of those teams? I hate all of those teams. Like obviously I just want United to be good. So I think right now they're definitely on the outside looking in, but those teams in particular just in really great form. So yeah, I mean, I think from here on in, like every result's gonna matter. And I'm not gonna say that like the United Chelsea game decided the league, but like on the last match week of the season, if City win the league by a point, we might look back on this week and say, remember when Chelsea couldn't beat Michael Carrick's Manchester United at the bridge? Remember when they had 15 corners and couldn't win. So these games happen. Like this could be a very important game in that title race. And City doing their due diligence against West Ham, while Chelsea might have had a slip up against Michael Carrick's Manchester United. Like that could go a long way. So you never know, and that makes a great story. So I'm excited to see how this season does pan out for sure.
Yeah, and keeping with City, we'll move on to the UCL midweek. Some stuff happened. I don't know if you saw the PSG Man City game, but um, I think PSG went up first. Mbappe scored, and it was basically looking like kind of almost like the Man U Chelsea game. Man City were just all over PSG, constantly in their half, putting in shots, not able to score, and then PSG go on a counter attack. Mbappe scores and they're up 1-0. So it was like, wow.
Yeah, it was so against the run of play. It was actually crazy.
Yeah, but then Man City refocused and came back and scored two, so they ended up winning. But I don't know if you saw it, but did you see like Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi literally walking around pretty much the whole game when they didn't have the ball?
Yeah, no, I was watching a bit of that game before I had to leave my house. But yeah, no, see, the thing about PSG, and I don't know if this is like a PSG thing, but I think it has a lot to do with, and now I'm not just gonna single out those three particular, I'm just gonna group in the whole team. I just think like to go from playing those teams in the Uber Eats League to Manchester City, that's like a big jump. And I don't care how good they look in League One, like Manchester City absolutely dominated them. And that was a team that we all talked about in the summer as like an all-star team, as if it's like the NBA. Like this is Team LeBron, just all the stars on one team. And yet, you got those dudes walking around, you got them getting dominated like that. And I forget off the top of my head, it was in Manchester, right? Or was it in Paris? It was in Manchester. So it's
I
like,
think it was in Manchester. Yeah.
yeah. So like to go away in the UCL and just put on that performance is pretty embarrassing if you ask me. So like I'm gonna say that like guys like Messi and Neymar should probably take more responsibility with stuff like that, just because like they've been around and they've actually won these awards. But like, yeah, like I think that really showcased why I'm just never really been too high on PSG as a whole. And I think that is like, front and center why. Because to go from playing in that quality of a league to then an actual good team like Manchester City, granted, that has been one of the best teams in the world the past couple of years, but still though, it's like the quality just looks like it was men against boys at times. And granted, they did score a counterattacking goal, but like erase that goal and they didn't really do anything in the game, like worth note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not too high on PSG either because they just seem like a bunch of individuals, a part of a team, but they don't play like a team. They kind of just play for themselves a lot, especially the attacking players. Like a lot of them look disinterested. They don't really want to press. Messi's walking around, not doing much. Neymar, we know how he is. He always looks kind of disinterested, right? Uh, and Mbappe is playing up at striker, and he's so far up, and he's not really getting back. So I thought really good performance from the defense, though. Like Donnarumma was great. Kimpembe was probably man of the match. He was insane for PSG, but like when you're just getting battered and battered and battered, like there's not much you can do. So can't really blame him too much. But yeah, I definitely the midfield didn't look great. They couldn't really string together a play, and they couldn't hold possession at all. So yeah, definitely not high on PSG. I don't think they'll win anything this season. Well, besides like the League One trophy, but like what does that really mean? They're not going to do much in Champions League, in my opinion. Not looking like that. Maybe they change right when the knockout stages start. You see a lot of teams like get up for that. So maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, like I really don't care about PSG at all. I care about some of the players on that team. Obviously, like Mbappe and Donnarumma, Kimpembe, Verratti. That's probably it. But Noon Manch,
Oh
legend.
yeah, moon match.
But it's just yeah, like I said, bunch of individuals. So I don't think they'll go very far. Speaking of not going very far though, Dortmund were knocked out.
Dortmund, man, like I don't even know what to say about that club. I just remember growing up and they were always like the second best team in Germany, even though they are in the league, but like they would always make like, decent UCL run. But like as the years went on, I feel like their Champions League reputation kind of just went down and down and down. And it's like it's crazy to think about that one year. Dortmund were in like the UCL final against
Mm-hmm.
Bayern. And now it's like 10 years later, almost just under 10 years later, Bayern are still winning Champions Leagues. Like they won it a few years ago or last year, season before that. And then now Dortmund aren't even making it in the UCL, not past the group stages. So
Yeah, I think
I
that
don't
final
know.
you're talking about was 2013, the year
Yeah.
just after Chelsea won.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah. So it's like 2013, they're a top team in Europe. And now it's like 9 years later, they're just not even going through. So I don't really know what to make of that. I don't really know what Dortmund's problem is when it comes to Europe. But I think this could be a blessing in disguise because honestly, this might give them a chance to just focus solely on that league because they are only 1 point back from the top. I'm pretty sure something like that.
Yeah, it's
So
just Bayern is like, bro, Bayern are so good, man. I just don't see them actually overtaking them.
yeah, like obviously it's a hard task because I don't think when was the last time Bayern didn't win the league? Like I think they've won 8 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Ironically, the last time they didn't, it was Dortmund who won the league, but
Mm.
still. So I think UEL nights are definitely way more like they're not as what's the word? Like you don't gotta prepare as much that you do with Champions League. You pretty much like a team like Dortmund, I would hope could pretty much just field a team and go places. So I think with that being said, they probably should focus on the league and do a push. I'm not saying they're going to win the league, but we're
Maybe
in
do a cup run.
they could. You never know. But they are in December now, pretty much, and only 1 point back. It's not like the league is already out of reach. So they have. I'm not going to call it a more than likely chance to win the league, but they have a chance to win the league. So I think that this could be good for them when it comes domestically, but European wise, it's like another disappointing campaign for them.
Yeah. To be fair, like they were missing Holland, who we both know is world class. So fair enough, but just I think they lost like 3-1 to like Sporting or something. So I don't know. It should have done better for sure. Some of the other UCL stuff that went on. Man U win against Villarreal with Carrick. Sancho got his first goal in the midweek. It was a nice goal too. So
Yeah, this class.
um, yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that performance.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if it's like a Michael Carrick masterclass or Sancho is just like free of Oli or whatever it is, but Carrick has unlocked Sancho. I don't really know how to explain it, but he had a good game against Villarreal, to be fair, and against Chelsea, he didn't do that much, but he still scored. So it's like 2 goals in 2 games under Carrick. Who knows? Maybe he's gonna get a third against Arsenal, but I was really happy with that performance. Ronaldo scored at the end. Sorry, Ronaldo scored in the dying minutes, and then Sancho at the end. So, it was good UCL night. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, it secured the group. I could be wrong about that, but we
Yeah.
definitely made it to the next round now, which is cool. So I think same with kind of like the opposite of Dortmund. I think now that we're in this position, we could like focus on the Champions League and not the league. Because I don't know if the league is too far gone. I'm not going to call it too far gone just yet because I don't know what could happen. But
Mhm.
with the new manager coming in, I think, who knows? We might make a good Champions League run. So I was really happy with that result.
Um, yeah. So stick with it. If you want to talk about Ralph Rangnick uh, now being appointed as the Manchester United manager, I don't think we've had a chance to talk about this on Baud Fawk. So go ahead, give us your Man United fan
Yeah,
thoughts.
I'm really excited with this because for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson, really, and I'll give a shout out to Mourinho, but it seems like we have a competent head coach in the sense where like I don't know that much about him as a manager. Besides, I know he managed Leipzig and Schalke, but I was watching a lot of videos on him giving like coaching presentations at press conferences and stuff like that, and he seems like he's a very knowledgeable person on the sport. And he does have like, I almost want to call it a trademark style, and he did mentor guys like Tuchel and Jurgen Klopp. So I think that's a bonus as well. So I'm really excited. I think all things considered, I don't think we could have got a better interim manager because I think Poch was too much of a, too far gone with Pochettino. Tang Hang already said he's coming in summer if he was going to go. I just, as you saw, like this whole Zidane situation was so like broken telephone. One day Zidane was on the way to Manchester, the next day he wasn't. So it's like,
Well, to be fair, from what I heard, I never heard one day that he was ever going to go to Manchester. I heard straight from the beginning he didn't want the job. He never wanted it. I heard he was way more interested in PSG. What I thought was going to happen was you guys were going to get Poch, and he was going to go to PSG. But it maybe he still will go to PSG, and Poch will get sacked. But I never once heard he was going to go to Man U. I knew from the beginning he didn't want that job. He wants either France, PSG, Juventus, or go back to Real Madrid, pretty much.
I think the funniest story I heard is that the Manchester Evening News claimed that he was like on his way. And then the next day, a journalist said Zidane is now not on his way because his wife doesn't want to live in Manchester. I was like, okay, so like, what are we doing? Is this happening? Like, yes or no? So I'm really excited with the Ralph Ragnick edition because he has a style. He's going to implement that style from the beginning. And I know we talked about this with Ole. Like in the 3 years that Ole was here, I still don't know what his like style of play is. But now we have the exact opposite. This dude's been coaching for years and he has a distinct style of play. So I'm happy with that. And I think, it could work out good with us.
Well, do you think it's worrying at all that he hasn't coached in 2 years? He's been more of a director role, which I think that's probably what he's best suited at. Because as a coach, he hasn't really done actually anything that impressive. Like he has a style and he's influenced, like you said, like Klopp and Tuchel, but um, he hasn't coached for 2 years. He's been more of the director role, which I think great appointment for you guys as a director. I'm not really sure about him as a coach.
I mean, like it's kind of like the opposite for me because he's been like at director and he's still been involved in the scene. Like I'm okay. And with him being the coach, and I don't know if you saw, but apparently when the 6 months is done, he's signing a 2-year contract to become a director at the
Yeah,
club.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's also really cool.
That's what I'm saying. I thought that was like a good decision, but I don't know
Yeah.
about the coaching part.
Yeah, like I'm definitely not I'm not obliged to him coaching, even though it's only been 2 years, because I feel like with the mind like his, unless for whatever reason he forgot his footballing knowledge, but like with a mind like his that I've seen at least at pressers and with his old tactics and all that stuff, I just think you can't lose that. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm just excited for him to get started. And now the sad thing is that, like I mentioned earlier, is that Michael Carrick will be the Arsenal, or sorry, the manager against Arsenal. and not Ralph because they gotta sort out his visa. So I would have liked him to get started against Arsenal, to be honest, because then he could have beat Arsenal and then we could have had a laugh with our friends. But I think his first game is set to be December 11th against Crystal Palace. I'm pretty sure it's an away game as well. So I'm excited for that, and I think he'll have a solid week of camp to prepare. He's bringing on his own staff, so I'm really excited for the Crystal Palace game.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's going to be a good game. See Vieira versus Carrick.
Yeah.
Or no, Rannick is coming in for the Crystal.
Oh
Or
yeah,
no,
sorry.
sorry,
Yeah.
Carrick is in for Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
So Arteta versus Carrick.
Yeah.
I hope you guys whoop them. I just don't want to hear our friends talk anymore about ESR, to be honest. If you guys let them score, I'm going to be so mad at you guys.
Yeah,
I'll
like
be so pissed.
like if we win hypothetically 4-1, but Smith Rowe scores the one, then it'll be like a
Still
W.
hear it. Yeah, well, still, it's basically a win for Arsenal.
Yeah. But before we move on though, I know I sent this to you guys. Ralph Rangnick wants to get Amadou Hiadara from Leipzig to come to Manchester United. I don't know too much about the player, but like it's a midfielder that's good apparently. So I want us to get him like as soon as possible. Hope that comes in on January 1st. So
and he clearly knows something about him that we don't, because I don't know much about him, but he clearly probably suits his style very well. And those young guys who you don't know much about, that the manager or the director knows a lot about, and there's a lot of stats, they usually turn out to be like really good performers for the club. So I'm pretty sure that'll be a good signing for you guys. I'm not sure, obviously, but it looks like you guys need that kind of player in the midfield. Obviously, McFred.
And see, this is good too, because I'm not saying that this dude is like better than like a Declan Rice or an Ndidi, but this guy's apparently, we want him for 33 million. Declan Rice would be over 100 mil, and Ndidi would probably be like in between 60 and 70. So it's a much cheaper option. And if he comes in and does the job, then he does the job, and I'm fine with it. So I'm really hoping we actually get that piece of business done.
Yeah, I'm just kind of worried that he's like a future prospect, and based on this Man United squad right now, you guys are in win now mode. Like you can't argue with that. Varane, like 4-time Champions League winner, World Cup winner. Like you bring him in to win. Ronaldo, he's what, 37 now? Like Ronaldo's not waiting around for rebuilds and young guys to come in. Ronaldo's like, let's get trophies right now. So I hope it's not like an appointment that he's got to like. It's gonna take time for him to like get into the first team.
Yeah.
As a Chelsea fan, I do hope that it's actually bad, but like from your perspective, like it shouldn't really be someone who's young and up and coming. Like you guys need like a guy who's like gonna come in and do the job proper, so you guys can actually push for either Champions League or the Premier League, whatever.
Yeah, and just to comment on that, I think with some young players, I think there's either the ones who are like ready to go now, or the developmentals, like you said. I don't know much about this guy at all, but I think if he has the work rate of like okay, like I want to win, and like he's willing to run around and stuff, because apparently he fits the style of the press that Ragnick likes to do. So if he's willing to put in his do his job, put in his dues, and get the ball from the other team and stuff like that, then I have no issues. But yeah, like you said, I don't want it to be like, yeah, we have flashes of this guy, like he's gonna be good in like 5 years, man. It's like no, like we need him to be good now. So I just hope that it's not one of those ones where it's like, yo, I can't wait for like 2 years for this guy to be like in his prime. It's like, nah, I need his prime to be now, because we don't have 2 years. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah. So just talk about, I guess, last thing in the UCL midweek drama. Chelsea 4-0 against Juventus, just absolutely destroyed them. It was honestly a joy to watch. It was really fun. Kind of depressing to see us go from that to tying Man U, but that game was just it was just men amongst boys. Like Cobham was just destroying Cho with a goal. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was like dancing in between the defenders for the assist. So Reece James always class. It was sad to see Ben Chilwell go down with an injury. That's going to be a very, very big loss. He's out for minimum 6 weeks. If it doesn't go well and he needs surgery, then he's out for the entire year, which is a huge loss. He's been top form, probably one of the best fullbacks in the world right now on based on his current form. So huge loss for sure. Conte went off with a minor injury, but even Timo Werner bagged a goal. So that's how you know we were doing some crazy things. So kind of a crazy game. Chalaba with his first Champions League goal.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that was actually a good goal.
so first start in the Premier League, he gets a goal. First start in the Champions League, he gets a goal. So it was a joy to watch. This Juve team obviously isn't as strong as it used to be, but it's still Juventus. Like it's still nice to win 4-0 over a giant like
Yeah.
Juventus.
So, like, despite everything, would you say that that game says more? Let's ignore the United game when I ask this question. Does that game say more about Chelsea, or do you think it says more about Juventus right now in each club's current state?
Well, the way I'm going to look at it is like the first game in Italy, right? We lost 1-0.
Yeah.
Basically, again, kind of like what happened with Man United, we were kind of all over them, and then Chiesa gets a really good chance, and you can't blame Mendy, and he scores. So I would probably say, just based on the fact that we lost the first game, I would say it says more about Chelsea than Juventus. Because obviously I don't think Juventus played very good, obviously, but
Yeah.
I thought Chelsea, that was more like a bounce back, like statement kind of thing. Like, yeah, like you guys beat us, but we're not settling for second in the group. Like we're coming out to win this. So um, I thought it said a lot about us, and it shows that we're still striving to. Basically, we're trying to win the treble. Like you can't say you win the Champions League and then next year you're not trying to retain it. And then right now we're obviously trying to win the Premier League. We're at the top of the league, so obviously we're trying to win the Premier League, the Champions League. We're trying to go for the Club World Cup. If we can win the Carabao Cup too, why not? Right, the FA Cup. We're just trying to win basically every trophy. So the goal is to win basically the treble. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we're showing that we can compete in every competition because we have amazing squad depth and just great players overall. So I think it says a lot about Chelsea, that match.
Yeah, that's valid. Man, I don't know if Juventus are just not good because I've not watched Serie A that much this year, but
They're
like
not good.
it's just, I think the funniest thing is seeing Rabiot like still playing
Oh my
like
god.
at Juventus. And obviously I know how you feel about Rabiot, but it's like I remember when PSG had, or not PSG, when Juventus had like Pirlo and Vidal and Pogba, and now you got Adrian Rabiot.
And Arthur and
And
Bentancur.
like, what a fall from grace. Like, I remember that one year when they made the Champions League final and they
Yeah.
had Pogba and
2015.
Pirlo. Yeah. It's like they had a great team, even like Mandzukic and stuff. It's like, yeah, they had a really proper like team. And now it's like, I feel like they have Chiesa and a bunch of scrubs because it's like, who else is like, I don't know who else is notable on that team. Like McKennie, Weston McKennie. So it's like, I don't know. I think Juventus, not our lost cause, but I think they might fizzle out for a bit there for at least the next couple of years. I don't see them just bouncing back. And like the Ronaldo loss was like huge. The fact that they sold Ronaldo for 15 million, like that,
Because
I
they
feel like
couldn't afford to pay him no longer.
yeah, like that piece of business, signed him for 100 mil, kept him for 2 years, did absolutely nothing domestically. And it's not Ronaldo's fault because we saw how bad they were. And
Yeah, well,
sorry,
he stopped scoring Serie A last season, right?
yeah,
So he's
my fault.
clearly.
Yeah, my fault. I meant in Europe, not domestically. But yeah, like domestically, like he did his part. He helped them win
Mhm.
this Scudetto. But yeah, like the fact that they lost to Ajax and Porto, like no disrespect to those teams, but they shouldn't be beating Juventus. And then to sell him for 15 mil to Man U, like I'm not complaining because we paid less for Ronaldo than like Arsenal did for Martin Odegaard. So I'm not mad at that by any means. But I don't even know. I think Juve kind of like a cultural reset, and I don't know where that's gonna like come from. But yeah, I'm just not. I don't really know where they go from here.
Juventus right now are sitting in seventh in Serie A, and are 3 points ahead of eighth and ninth place. And they both have a game in hand. So Lazio and Bologna could both overtake them because they are beating them on goal difference right now. So yeah, Juventus could genuinely drop down to ninth place in Serie A. I'm
Yeah, like
pretty
that's
sure.
mental to
So
think about.
Roma ahead of them with a point. They also have a game in hand. A bunch of teams have only played 14 games and they've played 15. So kind of shocking from this Juventus team. I thought they'd do a bit of a bounce back from last year with the signing of Locatelli because I thought that was a great pickup, but clearly it just shows like they're too slow to act on like replacing their aging players. They
Yeah.
never they still don't really have a true replacement for Bonucci. I know like Delict is supposed to be like the Chiellini replacement, but it's hard to replace Chiellini, to be honest.
Yeah.
But and their midfield, like they just never replace Pogba, Vidal, or Pirlo, and it shows because you have someone like Rabiot, who I think is probably like one of the worst players I've ever watched. Actually, one of my favorite moments of the Chelsea Juventus game. Reece James, probably one of my favorite players of all time now, just because of this. He just blasted the ball right at Rabiot's face, and he had to go down and get treatment for a bit. So that was probably one of my favorite moments, probably of all time, not even just of that game, because I just despise Rabiot. But yeah, Juventus are shocking, man. It was a pretty pathetic performance from them.
Yeah, and it's just tough to see. Well, not even tough to see because they had all those years at the top. But like I remember when AC Milan fizzled out and it was like, oh, how is this happening? But who knows, man? Maybe Juventus might just become the new AC Milan in that sense. And
AC Milan are now back playing really good. So
yeah, so it's like maybe Juventus's time is up and they're gonna go back down for a bit. And then yeah, maybe you'll see both Milan clubs, even AS Roma, so and stuff like that, just running the Serie A. So I personally
Napoli,
wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
Napoli are insane
Yeah,
too. But
Napoli too.
um, so we're done with all that. I think we should move on to the big topic of today, the Ballon d'Or rankings. If you guys did not see, Messi has won his seventh Ballon d'Or. Uh, if that qualifies him as the GOAT in some people's minds, some he was already the GOAT, but yeah, now seven. So Lewandowski came second. Um, it was kind of a crazy night. What are your thoughts on the Ballon d'Or?
It was crazy to be honest, because like the fact that Messi has seven Ballon d'Ors, and I know I made this, I said the same thing when Tom Brady won his seventh Super Bowl. It's like I don't think people really understand how crazy the fact he has seven. Like it's not like he has four, which is already insane, and five was insane. And you when he won the sixth Ballon d'Or, like that was pretty insane as well. But seven, like that is a lot. Like that is a lot of Ballon d'Ors. So like I think that the fact that whether or not you want to call it like a robbery or undeserving, whatever you want to call it, the fact that he now has seven Ballon d'Ors is like history. And I'm really happy that we're alive to see that history in the sense, because like that's an unbelievable achievement in itself. Like seven Ballon d'Ors. Like I just thinking about that is like crazy to me.
Yeah, it's so unbelievable. It might be undeserved, but so I think that's a great way to say that right now, Justin and I are going to give our personal top 10 rankings of the Ballon d'Or with just a couple reasons for each person, and then compare where they fell and who actually was in that spot for the Ballon d'Or ranking. So I think we should both start with our honorable mention who didn't make it into our top 10. So basically number 11. Who did you have?
um so this is how I'm going bold already. And disclaimer for everyone at home, I don't say these opinions to cause reaction. I genuinely believe this. So honorable mention is Kevin De Bruyne. He did not make my top 10. uh we'll get into who I have instead of him, but to me De Bruyne is a fantastic player, but I think he's seen better years. I think he did have a decent Premier League season. He was kind of injury prone in a bit, but like nah, to me he didn't have like a Kevin De Bruyne season where I was like, okay, he should be in. So he did not
Well,
make.
he was injured for like a big part of the season, right? And then like they gave him like PFA Player of the Year. So I
Yeah,
thought
that
that
was
was kind of
ridiculous.
crazy. By the way, guys, we did not actually discuss our list before this, so this is going to be a shock to both of us. But I also didn't have De Bruyne.
Oh, let's go.
But he didn't even make my honorable mention. My honorable mention, this might be surprising to everyone. It was Mbappe.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I
that is
probably would have thought he would have been in there. He was ninth in the actual one, and I think De Bruyne was eighth in the actual one.
yeah.
So we both have guys that were in there outside. I just think Mbappe was probably, you know, an underperformance in the Euros, and they didn't even win the League One title. All he got was the Nations League, which a lot of people like to discredit. I think, still a decent trophy. A lot of teams play their best teams for it. So we did play like a really good Spain side, and so he still did win that, but I just don't think he did enough to make it into the top 10. He had the good stats, but you lost League One, and didn't do anything in Champions League and underperformed with France in the Euros. So he just has to miss out for me.
Damn, that is a bold take. And I think on that note, can I go first with my number 10?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually I actually went with Kylian Mbappe. He was my number 10. Um,
Fair
but
enough.
he was my number 10 for every reason that you just named. I feel like, he kind of for me, it was really just the Euros. At the end of the day, PSG losing League One, like that is obviously big. But I was more of a fan of the story that Lille actually won it than I was that PSG lost. So that I didn't even consider that really. I kind of forgot. He was only at number 10 because I feel like he really underperformed in the Euros. And for a player at his caliber, I feel like I was disappointed. And if you go back to the World Cup when he performed, that's why he got so high on the list of the Ballon d'Or ranks. So I think Mbappe at 10 is fine with me. Now, I could see why you didn't leave him or you left him out. And just off the top of my head, I feel like maybe I could have included Ruben Diaz instead of Mbappe, but Ruben Diaz does play for Man City, so he's not going to get in. So I'm going to
I
go
was
with
debating Ruben Diaz too.
yeah, so I'm gonna go with Kylian Mbappe at 10. I think, all trolls aside, like he's still like a world-class player. He's pretty good. He has a nice celebration. He's on the cover of FIFA. So I don't hate him. He's just really
Yeah.
fun to make fun of too. So I think he personally underperformed, still had a good year based on the stats. But I think the underperformance in the World Cup, or sorry, Euro Cup, and the injuries in the Champions League. Now, I'm not going to blame him for getting injured, but at the end of the day, he was still injured. So PSG didn't win against City. So that's with all that being said, I had Mbappe at number 10.
Yeah, and fair enough. And as you know, like I love him. I'm big on winning, and if you're gonna only win the Nations League, I just don't know if that's enough for me. Um, but yeah, like good stats, like good shout. Like I'm not mad at him being at 10, obviously, because I don't even have him. I have him at 11. But my number 10 was Donnarumma.
Oh,
Um, I
big,
think he actually got 10 in real life. So
yeah.
I think good. He was so good for Italy in the Euros. Like I know he didn't really do much with AC Milan. Um, but like his performance in the Euros, you could arguably like actually you can't even argue it. Without him, I don't think they win. He was spectacular as usual. He did just win the Yashin Award as well, which I kind of think Mendy robbed. Uh, but if not Mendy, then Donnarumma. So I think he's fair at 10.
Yeah, that's valid. I really like now I don't like Donnarumma against England, but I've always liked Donnarumma as a player. I think he's been on the scene since he was like 17 years old. And I'm pretty sure he won player of the tournament at the Euros too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, fully deserved for me. Now, granted, I do think Mendy could have won that Yashin award, but like
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with Donnarumma winning it. So yeah, I think that's a fair shout for him at number 10.
And so we'll go into your number 9.
Okay, so now it's just kind of funny at this point, but my number 9 is Erling Haaland. I had to put him one ahead of Mbappe. See, the reason why he's ahead of Mbappe is I just think, like we mentioned in our big debate, I think in the past year, maybe even 2 years, like I said, I think he's done more for himself over or more than Mbappe, based on his stock and all that stuff and the stats. And I just think, yeah, like everything I said on that debate, and also everyone, if you haven't watched that debate, go watch it. Don't know what you guys are doing here, but yeah, I just think he's been amazing. He's one of my favorite players, so it might be a bit biased, but I think both him and Mbappe deserved a spot on my top 10. So it was just a matter of like who did I think was better, and based on like that debate, I can't go back on my word now, so I kind of had to put him at number 9. So yeah, Erling Haaland is my number 9.
Yeah, Holland just did not make my list. So, uh, for me, like I was debating it, and it really just came down to I'm not gonna like solely blame him for not winning the Bundesliga, right? Because he's on Dortmund, but didn't win the Bundesliga. He didn't win the Champions League. He didn't qualify for the Euros, And in the league, he got outscored by Lewandowski and Andre Silva. So just that alone took him out of the race for me personally. And I'm not sure exactly where he placed in real life, but wasn't it like 12 or something or
I think he
11?
came 11 in real life.
Yeah.
So he was
So
11 in real life and then 9 on my list.
yeah, and probably just under maybe Mbappe for me, maybe 12th or 13th or something. But yeah, I didn't have him in just for those reasons. Mainly it came down to being outscored by Andre Silva. That's kind of where it came down to it for me. But my number 9 was, and a lot of people will probably think this is crazy because he actually came I think 26th. Nicolo Barella.
Oh,
Um, he's my number 9. I thought he was so amazing to watch, and yeah, just influential for Italy in the Euros. Really good on the ball, and good at transitioning play. And he won the Euros, and then he also won the Scudetto with Inter. So to win the league and to win the Euros, there are some people who will hate on me for saying this, but Jorginho was one of the top contenders for the Ballon d'Or this year, no matter how you want to say it, and he won the Champions League and the Euros. So I think winning the league and the Euros has to get at least a shout. I don't know why he was so low.
yeah, that's valid. I never really thought about that, to be honest. Yeah, I like Burrell and Locatelli because FIFA obviously, but in all seriousness, yeah, I never really thought about Locatelli like that. But granted,
But L,
yeah,
but
I'm
L.
sorry, Burrell. Granted, he did have a great Euros, I will say. He was fun to watch. I'm not going to sit here and say I watched all of Serie A. I didn't see that much of him just because I didn't watch much of Inter. But what I did see at the Euros is that he was a top player. So I have no issues with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was disrespectful that they had him at 26. Like you
Yeah.
win the league and you win the Euros and you can't even get top 20. That was kind of crazy to me. But
Yeah.
um, so moving on to number 8.
Okay, number 8. Whew, my blood is boiling because this man was so disrespected in the actual rankings. And I'm really mad, like seriously mad. And you might call me biased. I don't care what anyone says. The fact that this man did not make the top 10 or at least top 15
Oh,
enrages me. But on my list, we have Bruno Fernandez. I have no idea how he finished 21st in the Ballon d'Or ranks. I have no clue. You
I
know,
definitely think he should have finished higher for
yeah.
sure.
So
I just don't know about top 10.
So I'm not gonna like we'll just make a comparison and we both love Mason Mount, but like Mason Mount finishing at 19 ahead of Bruno was kind of like I just didn't really know what to say because I think Mason Mount's a quality player, and this also goes with Mahrez too. I don't know if those two individually, like at the end of the day, the Ballon d'Or is like best player, and I just don't
But
know.
it comes into what you win as well, and the fact that he won nothing, and lost in the final of the Europa League. I think it was perfectly fair for Mason Mount to be ranked ahead of him. I wouldn't have Bruno in my top 10 because he didn't win anything. And if you're gonna use that, I know you also had him in your top 10, but you talk about the underperformance in the Euros for Mbappe. Bruno was not great in the Euros, and he actually got dropped from the squad. So um, I don't know. I just don't think he won anything, and his stats were good, but is that good enough to put you eighth?
Like, I'm not gonna be like a stats merchant because in the past I hate when people do that. But like to me, when you break a record held by Frank Lampard for goal scoring, like that has to mean something to me. Because it was Frank Lampard. He's a demon. He's GOAT. So when Bruno broke the record for most, like I think it was goals in the calendar year by a Premier League midfielder or something along those lines, like that to me that has to mean something. And since he's entered the league, he's had the most assists this year in the Champions League. Granted, it's only been going on for about 5 games, but
Right.
still 2021, he leads the Champions League in assists as well. He has 6. So it's not like the output, again, I don't want to be a stats merchant, but it's not like the stats aren't there. Granted, I'm not going to be the one to say that he has a 10 out of 10 every game because, there are games just like the Chelsea game that we just watched where he didn't have his best performance. But to me, okay, like leaving him at number 21 just for me is criminal because I get it is like you got to win stuff, but like I just don't get how FIFA, or I should say France football, said that 20 players were better than Bruno Fernandez. Like to me,
I
that
definitely think he should have been higher but I think if he won that Europa League, he probably would have. And that's why I'm perfectly okay with Mason Mount being ranked ahead of him. I know a lot of people are outraged at that, but he won a Champions League, so and he did create. Like I think probably second to Bruno. I think he created second most chances in the Prem. So he wasn't scoring as many goals. He doesn't take pens for us as well. So, but I just think if he won that Europa League, he probably would have been ranked probably in the top 15. But losing in that final, I think knocked him out. But my eighth was Lukaku.
Oh yeah,
Um, I don't know exactly. I know he finished outside of the top 10 in real life,
I
but
think it was 15. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that though.
I think it was higher. I think it was closer to like 13, maybe 12, 13. But um, and either way, right? I think underrated. He did win the league with Inter. Um, Again, I'm not really I'm not a super stats guy. I like more just watching them, but just in the Serie A, he had just in all club competitions, not including international, he had 30 goals and 10 assists in 42 games, I think.
Yeah, anyone
So
for your MVP to go with that too. So
right, so Serie A MVP, great contributions. He was also good for Belgium in the Euros, right? 4 goals in 5 games or something. So and I think he also just became Belgium's top goal scorer ever. So I thought it was pretty criminal how low he was rated. I thought he should have been top 10 for sure.
yeah, no, he definitely had a great year. Again, you might not believe it, but I do actually like Lukaku despite being a United fan. So I love that he won Serie A and won Serie A MVP because I'm a big fan. And even in the Euros too, like he looked pretty good. So he was one, yeah. So we finished I think it was 12th, like you said. Like maybe should have got top 10 in real life. I definitely think he deserved it over someone like De Bruyne. Because again, I don't know how De Bruyne finished that high compared
Yeah,
to guys like
facts.
Lukaku and even like Bruno on that note. So it's like, yeah, I definitely think Lukaku that's a legit shout. I could rock with that.
Yeah. So he's my eight. I'm not trying to be Chelsea biased, but uh, I thought he should have been in there. Move on to number 7. Who did you
Yeah.
have?
So my 7, you're gonna like this. Um, to me, I don't care what position you play, and I've always do this with every sport. If you're on the field, you're on the field. So I don't know if you guys want to say this is too high because of his position, but I have Donnarumma. To me, he had a great, year for himself. Granted, Mendy, kind of got disrespected by France football. But the reason why Mendy was just not there is because he just never actually got nominated in real life.
Yeah,
So like,
which is criminal. He should
yeah.
have been nominated.
So just like with that being said, I can't really be like, yeah, I think Mendy was the 7th best in the world if he just wasn't nominated. But yeah, player of the tournament at the Euros, like you said, Italy probably wouldn't have won the Euros without him. So for that, I just think that does enough. And to me, he in 2021, he was the best goalkeeper in the world. He won the Yashin Award. So he has that. He has the Euros. Ibra also said he's the best goalie in the world now. I know they were teammates when he said it, but that still has to mean something to me. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, despite him being a goalkeeper and everyone else so far have been like attackers and midfielders, since he's the best goalie in the world, he has to be ranked like at least top 7 for me. So that's why I have done.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna knock it. I love Donnarumma. He was 10th for me, but good shout for sure. I'm not gonna hate on that. People might say I have this guy a little bit low, but my number 7 is Benzema.
Oh, God, I'm about to leave, bro. I'm about to leave the podcast.
I love Benzema, man, but it's just he didn't really do anything with Real Madrid. Um, he was good in the Euros, but he had his moments where he didn't look great. He did win the Nations League. 30 goals, 9 assists last year. Similar to Lukaku, and this year 16 goals and 8 assists in all club competitions. So he's definitely killing it for sure. I just think the guys ahead of him won more things or had more outstanding individual seasons. So not hating on Benzema. I love Benzema. I really wanted to put him in the top 5, but um, yeah, he had to miss out for me.
Like it hurts me because I'm a big Benzema fan, but like you gave valid reasons, so I can't argue with that. Just that just hurts, man, because Benzema's my guy, but I could live with that. So I think yeah. So moving on, we're going to number 6. I guess it is now.
Yeah, who do you got?
So I actually have this might be too high, might be too low. I don't know. I actually have Mo Salah, the Liverpool legend, I guess you want to call him now.
Oh, I might have messed up.
Oh, what
I
is
actually had I actually had Salah at 7 and Benzema at 6. That's my
oh
fault.
okay, that
I had Salah I had Salah there. Just good. Yeah, sorry. I'll just quickly explain. Just good season, but didn't win anything, so I couldn't put him much higher than that.
yeah.
But um, yeah, and Benzema is my number 6 for all the reasons I just said. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I think Mo Salah, um, it's so funny because I like I'll always defend Mo Salah, but I'm the biggest Manchester United fan ever. So it's like, why would I do that? But to me, he's like he honestly he besides maybe someone like Bruno, I think he might actually be the most disrespected player in the Premier League. I don't get
Definitely
how
up there.
yeah, like I don't personally understand how you could criticize someone for scoring goals or like dribbling and like not passing. It's like he's a forward and he outscores everyone. What more do you want? You know, he did break the goals record a few years back. He's won trophies, and in 2021, he's been looking so good. And this season, like at the start, besides maybe Benzema, I think he's been the best on form player. You know, he had that run where he just kept on scoring, even scored a hat trick against us. So yeah, I think Mo Salah, he definitely, you know, in the past did more to win a Ballon d'Or because of the trophies. But
Mhm.
I think in terms of the goal outputs, you know, it's not been his best, but still been world class. So for that reason, he had to make I like he's on the cusp of the top five. You know, we'll get to the top five just now. But the reason why he's number 6 is because the person at number 5, I couldn't put below Mo Salah. Like I couldn't do it. But Mo Salah could be number 6. I really like him as a player. I respect him. I hate the criticism that he gets because it's like, what more could you want? He's a winger who scores goals for fun, and that's his job. So do you want him to save the ball next? Is that what you want him to do? So yeah, for me, Mo Salah definitely. You know, I've always said it. I was been between him and Bruno as the two best players in the Premier League the past year. So it might be a big call, but that's my shout. So in terms of like league play, it's been there. So I think Mo Salah could sit comfortably at my number 6.
Yeah, fair enough. And for all those reasons, I had him at number 7.
Yeah.
So, or I wanted to at least. I meant to move him because I added in Benzema, and then I wanted to move him down, and I just forgot to put him there. But yeah, so Salah was my number 7, Benzema my number 6 for all the reasons I said. I think good shout. If you want to move on to number 5, cracking into the top 5, who is your
Okay.
5th?
Whew. You know, I wanted this man to win the actual thing, but like I just don't think the sad thing is he didn't have a legit enough case to win it, sadly. And you know, as you just motioned there, and as in the shirt I'm wearing, but it is the Sioux. I had Cristiano
See?
Ronaldo number 5. The thing about it, man, is that like you can like I don't gotta speak about Ronaldo. You know him, like everyone knows. But like I think this year he didn't have an actual like legit shot to win. And that doesn't have anything to do with him. It's just because, you know, I feel like maybe at times he underperformed, but more or less Juventus really underperformed this
Yeah.
year. And he did a lot that he could, but the fact that like he didn't even win Serie A MVP, so that didn't even go to him. And you know, he didn't really do anything in the Euros with Portugal because they crashed out. So again, not his fault, not entirely his fault. You know, I know there were at times where maybe he could have done better in some of those games. So I'm not going to say that, oh, like he was flawless, because, you know, there were times where he didn't have the best moments. But the reason why he is high on my list is because, and it might be biased, but since he's come back to Menu, he's been amazing, world class,
Yeah.
scoring goals left, right, and center. You know, despite the recent struggles, I still get to see Ronaldo play, and he is doing good. So I think the second half, or I should really call it just the 2021 half of the year, has really rejuvenated him for me. And I'm excited to see how the team does with Ragnick now in. But I think Ronaldo always has to be there no matter what. Even if Juventus got relegated, but Ronaldo still put up those stats, he would still be in my at least top 10. So
Hey
I think,
man,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off. Fair enough. I also have him at 5. So
Ooh.
yeah, the Sioux. I think he should have made top 5 in real life.
Yeah.
Um, top scorer in the Serie A, like you said, like it wasn't really his fault. It was Juventus underperforming, and we're seeing that this season. Now they're trash, as we said earlier.
Yeah.
So top scorer in Serie A and the Euros. Um, so he won the Coppa Italia with that garbage Juventus team. I think Ronaldo is probably the most disrespected player in the world
Yeah.
currently, and you could maybe argue of all time because a lot of people want to say, yeah, like like you want to say Messi's the GOAT, whatever, but they take it as like, oh, because Messi, I think Messi's the GOAT, then I have to disrespect Ronaldo. It's just it doesn't work that way. You just kind
Yeah.
of have to appreciate the greatness. Um, and Ronaldo is phenomenal. So I thought he was a bit disrespected. And I think he came sixth in real life, but I thought just the whole conversation around him, he was just being disrespected constantly. So he also he made my top five. He came fifth. So yeah, like everything you said, and he's been Man United's one of their best players, and he's just really good. So move on to number four.
Okay. So you're gonna get really triggered at this. And like, listen, man, like you won't get that mad, but I just know you're not gonna be happy. But there's a Chelsea player, and it's not the Chelsea player that everyone thinks should have won it. It's not the Chelsea player that finished third in real life. It's the player who I believe should have been in the top four, hence why he's in my number four. And you're actually wearing his jersey. Nicolo
Conte,
Conte.
bro, he's my number four too. Why do you think I'd be mad?
Oh, well,
Yeah,
because since he's number four, someone else is just not on the list. But N'Golo Kante is number four. To me, and this is why some people have won it in the past. World class in the Champions League, especially in the
yes,
second half of that tournament. Conte at that moment was looking like the best player in the world. We talked about it after the Atletico games, the Porto games, the Madrid games, and the finals. Like he's just amazing. He was world class. And the fact that I feel like, you could correct me if I'm wrong because you are the Chelsea fan, but I think honestly, like it might be like a big shout, might be reactionary, but that Champions League run might have been just Conte at his very best. Now, I know we've seen him in the past do it throughout a whole season. We've seen him do it for Leicester, but he just looked like he was on another level for consistent games too. It's not like he did it like one game and then shied down. He was the best player on the pitch for a good run of games, hence
yeah,
why he won all those man of the matches. And to me, was the Champions League player of the season. So
yeah.
Conte for me is number four.
Fair enough. I have it here and just basically just most influential player in Chelsea winning the Champions League. I don't know what else I need to say. Without him, we don't win that Champions League.
Yeah.
He definitely showed why he is world class. Why, in my position, he's the best CDM in the world. Um, if you want to disagree, you can. I'm just going to tell you you're wrong. He is so good, and I think after that Champions League, in my opinion, it cemented him as an all time great in his position. I already thought he was probably there. Multiple Premier Leagues, PFA Player of the Year, a World Cup, and now you just add Champions League on top of that. It's like, what hasn't he won?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's fourth for me too. He was just very good. He's had a couple injury issues, but when he's healthy and playing at his best, he's unstoppable, man. He's like you just can't get past him. He's everywhere. So I completely agree.
Yeah.
Conte is amazing. You want to move on to number three?
Yeah. So number three is actually his national team teammate. You already talked about him, but Karim Benzema for me is number three. I think the reason why Karim Benzema did not win the Ballon d'Or, and it's because of that last day of La Liga season when Real Madrid lost the league by I think 1 point. I truly believe that if he won La Liga, he would have won the Ballon d'Or. you know, that he was so close. I think, you mentioned the stats earlier that he had, yes, granted the Euros he didn't do that much, but Benzema at club level was just unsolvable. And even so far this season with his, I think you said it's 16 goals and 8 assists, like that goes a long way. That would be good stats for someone throughout the whole season. Like if someone finished with those stats, you wouldn't complain. Be like, that's a pretty good season. Good for you. We're in December and
Yep.
those are the stats. So he hasn't been slowing down since the back end of 2020. He's been world class for me. And
Yep.
literally, I was so heartbroken when Real Madrid did not win the league because I was watching their game on my computer and then Atletico's game on my phone at the same time. And like, I know when Modric scored, Ramos was like, "No, they're winning 2-1." I was like, "No," like they were so close. And honestly, like, it might be biased because I love Benzema. He's one of my favorite players ever. But I truly believe that if they had won La Liga, he would have won the Ballon d'Or. So
Yeah, if they had won La Liga, I probably would have had him at least one or two. I agree. It's just the fact that he didn't is just the only reason I didn't have him in my top five. He came sixth, but um, yeah, he was like you said, he was just so good. So many goals, so many assists. If they did win La Liga, for sure he'd be up there for sure. But um, yeah, just good pick. I'm not gonna complain. I also love Benzema. I was actually with our friend Alex, who is a Real Madrid fan, on the last day, and he was watching the game. He was not the same after that day. He was very sad. But yeah. So my third pick, um, this might be kind of crazy. Leo Messi
okay.
is obviously everyone knows he won it. I have him at third. My main reasoning for this is he did nothing at the club level, and I'm not going to say that Barca team was like good or anything, but um, I thought a lot of those Barca a lot of those Barca players were just kind of constantly feeding him the ball and letting him do everything instead of kind of like playing as a team. So um, it didn't really look great to me, and yeah, he won the Copa America for the first time, but I just don't know why everyone's acting like the Copa America is some big achievement now, all of a sudden, just because Messi won it. When Messi doesn't win the competition in the past, everyone's like, oh, you know what? Copa America doesn't really mean anything anyway. He wins it, and everyone's like, oh my God, he won the Copa America. So nothing against Messi. But for me, like, the Euros are just clear of Copa America. I don't think anyone can argue that. So didn't do anything at club level, and I thought it was undeserved that he won the Ballon d'Or. As you guys can tell, I have him at number three. So yeah, I
That's
don't
a
know what
big,
else to say.
big take. There are some valid points in there, but we'll talk about Messi soon as well. But let's just, I guess, gotta go straight to number two. I have the the unofficial 2020 winner because he was robbed of his Ballon d'Or, so FIFA. But I have Robert Lewandowski at number two. Not much more I could say about him if you watch the sport. He had an amazing output. I think he had 60 goals in total or something like that. Bayern, won the league. He won the Champions League last year, but he got robbed of the Ballon d'Or because he was undisputedly the Ballon d'Or winner of 2020. Don't think anyone really had a question there. He won the treble. And the sad thing is that I even saw a video about this. They said if you could, give me an argument of why Lewandowski should have won the Ballon d'Or without mentioning like the year that he didn't win it because he got robbed, then like it's valid. But I just feel so bad that he didn't win it in 2020 because it was fully deserved and they just took away the award for no reason. And like we'll get into reasons why after he's number two. But I just think it was just really unfortunate that Bayern didn't win the Champions League again. And now, granted, no one's ever done back to back except Real Madrid. So it's not like I had expectations for them just to go back to back. And I'm not going to be like, oh, well, because he didn't, then like he can't, he just didn't deserve it. But seriously, though, like I just I feel really bad that he didn't win it because I think that the outrage of him not winning it this year more has to do with him not winning it in 2020 than it actually does Messi winning it in 2021. So that was kind of like my argument. So yeah, I just unfortunate for him not to win the Ballon d'Or this year. And he's my number two. I think he was number two in real life too. So
Yeah.
I'm, the same there as France football was. But I just feel really bad that he didn't get his trophy last year. They took it away for no reason. And that I'm like sad about. But
Yeah.
sadly, this year for me, he's my number two.
Um, my number two was the Italian stallion, plays for Chelsea, Jorginho. People might say it is criminal to have him over Messi, but he won the Euros, which is just a far better competition. Like I said, the Copa America this is probably the weakest it's ever been. Uruguay are not as good as they used to be. This is probably one of the worst Brazil sides I've ever laid my eyes on. Like they have Richarlison starting up front. So Chile are nothing without Alexis Sanchez, and yeah, I just think the Copa America is not as good as the Euros. So The fact that Jorginho won the Euros, he was influential in them winning it. You cannot tell me otherwise. He was very good for Italy. And he won the Champions League. Those two competitions are probably the biggest competitions that he could have won. Besides, maybe a Premier League, but I'd probably say the Euros and the Champions League are bigger accomplishments in my opinion. So the fact that he won both, he was influential in both, he was really good for both teams. He's my number two. I'm sure maybe a lot of people would have thought I'd put him at one, but if you want to just segue over to my number one, which is, I guess, obvious, is Lewandowski. I know you said, make an argument besides him deserving it last year. Well, top scorer in Bundesliga. They won the Bundesliga. They won the trophy. He had 48 goals and 9 assists in the Bundesliga, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? He breaking records and just. I'm not going to blame him for not winning the Euros with Poland,
Yeah.
and the Champions League. He was injured when they lost, so and they honestly they probably could have beaten that PSG team again if he was there. They almost beat them without him. So I think, yes, he deserved it last year, but I think he also deserved it this year. I just don't think anyone else did. Uh, he had an amazing individual season, and he also won his league and a trophy to go along with it. So for me, it is Lewandowski. Who is your number one?
Yeah, before I even touch on my number one, yeah, like Lewandowski breaking Gerd Muller's record, insane because that
Yeah,
record stood for so long. And yeah, like you said, he was injured when they lost, but it's just really unfortunate that he didn't get the official recognition the year before because
yeah.
that year when they won the treble, it's like, yo, he was undisputably the best player in the world. And it wasn't even like he just won more than people. He won the most, was the best player on the team and the best player in the world. So I just think it's criminal that he didn't get recognized for that award last year. But
Lewandowski should
yeah,
have 2 Ballon d'Ors, guys. 2 right now.
imagine the scenes. Let's just take a moment. Imagine if he had 2 Ballon d'Ors for his name and he went back
He
to back.
should.
That might be like an all-time, well, it would be. It would be an all-time achievement for real. But very unfortunate. But my number one, just like France football's number one, was Lionel Messi. My reasoning, and I don't like to be a stats merchant. I really don't. And I hate advanced stats in real life. But I think the advanced stats really just go to Messi. He had like the most man of the he was clear man of the matches when it compared to both Lewandowski and Benzema, who were in my top three. He might have lost out on goals to Lewandowski, but he had like more assists, he had more chances created, he had more dribbles created. And I know you could have your opinions on the Copa America. I've never been the one to be like, oh, because Messi doesn't win it. Like I know people make the argument, but when he wasn't winning it, I was critical. I was like, yo, how do you not win that award? So just based on my personal expectations, I was happy that he won, and he won Copa America in the best way possible because he had I think he had like 6 men in the match awards, the trophy itself, and player of the tournament. I know, granted, it was a PR stunt and they did player of the tournament with Neymar before the finals. Like that, if that's not a marketing stunt, then I don't know what is. It's the first time they've ever done that where they release it before the final. But yeah, so to me, the stats were there, the advanced stats were there. I know he didn't win a trophy, like he just won like he didn't win a league trophy, sorry, but he did win Copa America, which is a great achievement in itself because Argentina haven't won an international trophy in God knows how long. That's his first international trophy, and to do it like the way he did, where it was, I don't want to call it like a carry job because I didn't watch
Oh
every
no,
single
come
game.
on. That Argentina team has good players.
No, I know,
De
yeah, yeah,
Paul, Correa, Emi Martinez is now
yeah,
like considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
yeah.
It's a good
So, but
team.
like to do it in the fashion that he did, I just think, yeah, like that tournament really meant a lot to me in my rankings. So I know maybe in your rankings or other people's, that tournament doesn't mean as much as like, let's say the Euros or even like a cup competition for the clubs. But that really sealed it for me on top of his like pretty good club season. So that's why to me, Messi was my rank number one.
So you don't have Jorginho in your top 10.
Nah, I can't, bro. Conte has to be there because Conte wasn't there in real life, right?
So you would put someone like Mbappe or Holland, or I'm not sure exactly who else you had. I don't remember them all. Mbappe, Holland, Salah over a guy who won Champions League and the Euros.
Yeah, because I do it with context. And this is the argument that I actually made today with the pop out, ironically. But in the Champions League, like granted he won it. I'm not saying he played bad at all. Like that's not my argument at all. But and that was N'Golo Kante's trophy. Like when looking back in 10 years, when I see the 2021 Champions League winners with Chelsea, I'm thinking about N'Golo Kante of his world-class performances. He like that was like, this because you're obviously a Chelsea fan. He was amazing. We already talked about that.
Yeah, but
And
it's not just one player; it's a
I
team
know, I know
achievement,
it's not
man.
just
He
I know
was
it's not
on the team. The fact that he won the Euros and the Champions League has to mean something. The fact that you didn't make your top 10, that is criminal. That
no,
is
I can't
terrible.
because in the past, we've seen players have better seasons from midfield and not even be anywhere near. And like, sure, okay, maybe you could have made my top 10, but to me, like Conte and Donnarumma were more deserving than Jorginho for me. If
Wow.
that makes sense.
I mean, all right, man. If that's how you want to go about it. So if we want to just recap both of our lists. So runner up, I had Mbappe and you had
Who did I have again? Oh, De Bruyne, yeah, De Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Number 10, I had Donnarumma.
I had Kylian Mbappe.
Number 9, I had Barella.
And then I had Erling Haaland.
Number 8, I had Lukaku.
And I had Bruno Fernandez.
Number 7, I had Salah.
Then I had Gigi Donnarumma.
Number 6, I had Benzema.
Then I had Mohamed Salah.
Number 5, we both had the Sioux.
Cristiano.
And number 4, we both had Conte.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Number 3, I had Messi.
Yeah, and I had Kareem the Dream Benzema.
Number 2, I had Jorginho.
I had Robert Lewandowski, as Thomas Muller likes to say.
And number 1, I had Lewandowski, and you had Messi, which is crazy. All right, well, I think that's it for this episode. Want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and share the video. Thank you for making it this far, and throw it over to you, Justin.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone, for the continued support. We enjoy making these videos for you guys. And once again, just check out our social medias in the description down below. But yeah, thank you guys and have a good one.